Hey, I work hard every mother day, I work hard.
Hey TCF, join me in congratulating Sean for being July's Member of the Month. Sean, congratulations.
Thanks, Joe.
It's been a long time coming, right?
I don't know if it's been a long time coming, but it is. It's been fun. It's been fun.
Yeah.
But it's what it is. It is a joy to, I don't know, to be nominated in this. This is quite surprising, but
Surprising?
fun.
No, dude, man. When your name was brought up, it was like a unanimous yes. I mean, it was freaking. I mean, you're a great example of. I mean, we'll kind of get into this and stuff like that. Of like, I mean, you're just always asking questions, always wanting to learn, always wanting to know everything and stuff like that. I mean, it's awesome, and it's awesome having you in class and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll get into that in a second. But tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your age, occupation, all the basics?
Well, I'm older. I'm old. So I've crossed the 43 mark. So 43. I've worked in software sales. So for all my career, I've dealt with technology and software and trying to sell that to other enterprise customers. So I'm on the road a lot.
Yeah.
And just been, fitness has always been a deal for me, been a stress relief. When you're dealing with people and screens all the time, you need an outlet. And so for me, fitness and working out, exercise has always been kind of an outlet for me to kind of release some stress and yeah.
Yeah. And has that changed? I mean, obviously we're kind of coming out of COVID and stuff, but has that changed? Has your job changed a lot from like the human interaction to strictly just online stuff?
Yeah, it has. I have not been on an airplane for I guess 20 months now since COVID. I really missed that.
You miss being on airplanes?
I miss the whole aspect of traveling, like from parking in the parking lot to getting going through tickets and TSA. I love all that. It energizes me knowing I'm going to see clients, knowing I'm going to see the business world and different campuses and stuff. So I've been fortunate enough to travel the country and the world, different aspects. So I love that. So I miss it. So that part I miss. So now it's mainly screens, right? Zoom calls, team meetings, and so I spend a lot of time sitting behind a desk looking at people in one dimension. So I miss the three-dimensional part of working. So it's a new norm, but hopefully we'll be on airplanes in the next couple months.
Yeah.
But for right now, I mean, going out and seeing people is not an option, but it does heighten the kind of stress in terms of another screen. You get Zoom fatigue is a real deal, right?
Yeah.
You know, you zoom out on screens and you're just like, give me something else to do. And so coming out and getting out and seeing around people, sweating in gym and is part of that now.
Wait, that's crazy because it's like I don't think Zoom fatigue was ever a thing. I mean, maybe like screen fatigue or something like that, just looking at a screen for too long.
Right.
But that's crazy. That's like a thing now.
Yeah, I mean the fact that you've got to fight for calendar space, right? You've got to fight for 30-minute blocks. And so you're not competing with, hey, I'm coming into town, let's figure out time to work. It's like, no, I am one segment of your whole busy day. So think about your schedule. Remember how busy you are.
Yeah.
And now 30 minutes, I've got to have another phone call with somebody, another dedicate time to sit down, set up my screen.
Oof.
It's stress, and people are just like, is it worth my time? So you've got to convince people that you're worth their time.
Yeah, and well now it's like everyone knows that you're just sitting at home on your computer, so they're like they can zoom you up or whatever it is at any point in time now,
Right.
and they expect that you'll be free.
That's right. That's right. But you're not, right? You're busy.
Yeah.
We're going from calls to calls, you know. So the people aspect, I do miss that a lot, and it's a real deal.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone say they love getting on the planes and stuff. I know people like getting to places and being there, but I never. I definitely don't enjoy the the travel aspect of getting in the planes and TSA and stuff.
Yeah, no, it to me it's a ride, right? So I fly to California a lot or Seattle, and so I take the first flight out in the morning, and when you're on the plane, it's about the quietest you can be. If you think about it, there's no one calling you, emails, and so that's my time to think. And so I've got a 5.5-hour flight to Seattle that I can just think and prepare for my meetings that I'm about to, or catch up on some other things that I left the office for. So of the business of the world right now, the airplane is one of the most quiet place in the world that you can be.
Using that, I definitely would like to get on airplanes more now.
You should.
Cool. And so kind of like some other questions and stuff. How long have you been doing CrossFit?
So CrossFit, I started, been in this box actually, I guess it was 2016. Was the first time we actually stepped foot in here, 2016. My wife actually got me to come. So she was the one who said, I want to do something different. she and I, we've been married 20 years now, and we've always worked out together, run together. It's been part of our marriage and our life, just doing that. And she said, I want to do something different. Let me try this CrossFit thing out. And so she came for about a month by herself. She said, you really got to try this out.
Yeah.
And so in 2016, I joined up, and so we worked out together and did it for about 2 years, and I loved it, and the understanding the different explosiveness of CrossFit and the cardio and the macros and all that just mixing together was cool. Something I'd never done before. So that was interesting, because you go to the lift weights and you do the lifting and you want your body to change, and then you have cardio days and you have lift days, and you kind of segment it too much. But CrossFit really bridges that gap between just overall fitness and fun stuff, neat stuff.
Yeah, it takes everything, mixes it all together, makes it fun.
Yeah, and then I talk about traveling and that aspect of it. The problem with traveling is that it takes you away from the box, right? So my job changed a little bit while I was traveling a lot more, and so I had to discontinue coming here for about almost 3 years, and then we came back about 10 months ago.
Yeah.
So
is that the reason why you kind of stepped away? Was just travel got almost too crazy, too much?
Yeah, it was too much. It was where I was going every 2 weeks, and if you want to do CrossFit, it's hard to do that. It's hard to come back for 2 weeks. And, you go through the gamut for 4 days, and then
it's almost like restarting every single time.
Yeah. And I hated that, right? You take a week off and you come back. It is tough.
Yeah,
it really is. But so that's ultimately why I had to give some time off to it.
Yeah. What kind of brought you back into the gym? I mean, you said you were gone for travel and stuff.
Well, 2 things. One, I didn't have to travel as much.
Yeah.
so I could come back with COVID and whatnot. And 2, I miss it, right? The idea of dropping weights, not so much dropping to make the noise, right? Obviously that's a lot of fun. But the point of just the different movements that you can do, the team, the community aspect of it, all of that added into that. Plus, my daughter and I want to do something together. Yeah. And so this was an opportunity for us. She's coming along in terms of fitness and whatnot. So this was something that we could do together. And so that's ultimately what came. And plus, it's right down the street from my house, so it's not bad.
I mean, that's not that's not a bad thing either, right? But that's cool. I mean, something that y'all get to do together. I mean, something to get you away from the computer screen, get you to actually see people in person. Maybe I give you that little bit of a community aspect outside of not being able to go into work or something like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then kind of what keeps you motivated and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, what keeps me motivated is being ready, right? I mean, we want to serve people. I want to serve people. I want to help people, right? And no matter what's going on, you've got to be ready to serve. And so from your body, right, you got to help somebody move, right? You've got to move furniture and whatnot. You don't want to get hurt, right? And so part of what motivates me is to keep my body in shape so that I can go help other people. Yeah. It really is, because I don't want to pull anything, right? You go help somebody on Saturday morning, you haven't done anything for 2 months. Next thing you know, your back's jacked, your leg's hurting.
You're out for like 2 weeks.
You're out for 2 weeks, and you're like, oh man, this is terrible, whatever. I want to show up and I want to be in shape to do some stuff, right? And so obviously with the kids and our family, being able to do stuff around the house and keep mobile and moving, that's serving them, right? That's serving them. And so that's really what motivates me to keep going. I mean, obviously I want to feel good, right? I mean, we're investing in our health, right? It's an investment. So there's 2 ways you can look at it. One, you can either spend co-pays, right, with doctor visits and medications, or you can invest in box memberships, right? And all the training and stuff. So I'm choosing to do that type of investment. So it's not a cost to us. It's truly an investment. Right. And so that we're ready and for long-term health. That really is it. Because look, man, people, I mean, if you look at the way this world's going and everything, you got a little bit of time on this earth. You got a little bit of time. Oh yeah. And so maximizing that in good health is key, so that you can be a blessing and live a purpose-filled life.
Well, and also make it fun too, right? I mean, like what you said, you can either spend it on doctor visits and prescriptions and stuff like that, but then it's like, then all you just do is feel crappier and crappier. It's like, if you work out, you're investing in your health that way, but then also you're investing in fun, right? You can go hiking. I know that like y'all have gone hiking and stuff like that. Y'all have like gone. For example, we went up to like Chicago, did Murph up there in Chicago and stuff like that. I mean, just it gives you so much more stuff that you can do with your life. Right. At a moment's notice, hey, you want to go hiking this weekend? You don't have to be like, oh, I got to prepare. Exactly. It's a great point. And so we want to instill that in our kids, right? Be active, be ready to go. You're sitting home. It's fun, right? We like playing video games and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like,
I want to do something fun.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing nature and seeing God's work and stuff like that is huge in what people are what we need to do. You know what I mean? I don't want to sit in the doctor's office all day.
No,
you know?
no.
one wants
I
to do
mean,
that.
you don't want to. Yeah, that's not fun. It's
Right.
not fun getting poked with stuff and all that stuff. Yeah,
Right.
no. And then, so I mean, you mentioned that like part of coming back was wanting to do something with your daughter and stuff like that. How's that been having like something to work out with Josie with, and kind of that time together?
Yeah, I mean, it's special. I mean, it really is more special than I thought it would be, because she just turned 16, and not too many teenagers want to hang out with their parents, especially their dad or whatever.
Right.
And so
at that point in time, they're like, "Oh, Dad, you're not cool."
yeah, exactly. And I'm still not cool, right? I'm totally cool with not being cool, but it really is a tremendous blessing for me and for her to just spend that 1 hour together. Even if it's the 15 minutes in the car over here, 15 minutes there. So it's an hour and a half that we get to spend together, at least 4 days a week, if not 5 days a week. And so it's been great. I mean, she's made tremendous gains.
Yeah.
She pushes me. I push her. And so
or you try and keep up with her.
I try to keep up with her. It's a lot of fun, though. You mentioned fun. It really is fun, because I'm now not trying to, back in the younger days when you're trying to lift weights, you're trying to lift weights out of the gym and try to get on the leaderboard. It's a little bit different now with her. She's still pushing me a lot, and I'm pushing her. But watching her go through the gains is fun to watch. But more importantly, it's about time together. Again, what I said earlier, your time on this earth is little, and we've got a little bit of time to input and have purpose in our kids' lives.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look, the same for everybody, but for us, this is an opportunity for us to really spend time together.
But then also you get like something to talk about and stuff, right? It's like you can talk about, oh, I'm really looking forward to this workout, or oh my God, how did you? I couldn't believe we did this and then today, or something like that.
We do. We look at that. We look at the Zen planner and we're like, are we ready for this? And then we're always like, well, there's a trick to it. There's always a trick to these workouts, and what's the strategy? And so we strategize with that, and it is fun to do that. Very fun. Very fun.
Heck yeah! I mean, give y'all something to talk about and stuff together, and something else to bond over.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then another thing, like kind of like what I was talking about before, is like when we were trying to decide who was the member of the month and stuff, it was almost like a unanimous yes, because it was like one big thing that you show a lot is like that willingness to improve, or wanting to improve, that like you're always like striving for better, however you can get better,
right, and
stuff. I mean, like, what's that stem from? Is that something that you developed like just as you kind of what's the correct term, aged,
right.
Or is that like something that you've always had, or where does that come from?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. It always learning is a part of humility, and there's a Bible verse that talks about how God resists the proud but gives grace to the humble, and so putting yourself in a place of learning, and not I mean, obviously realizing you don't have all the answers, is a place of humility. It's lowly, right? It's low, and so I felt like that I don't have all the answers, right? And there's a lot of smart people around. I don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room at all, right? And so when a coach says you're doing this wrong, or here's a better way to do it, I want to listen. I want to improve, because I don't have all the answers. There's so much to learn, right? There's at our company, we have something that says always be learning, right? Always be thinking about learning. Learning really focuses you on being not just a better person, but just a more of a person that people want to be around, right? I mean, nobody wants to be around somebody's like, oh, I know what I'm doing, throw that down areas, right? Nobody wants to be around that. Yeah. I certainly have been that way. I've certainly been that way, and I don't want to be that way anymore, right? And so it really stems from, allowing God to use me in a way for other people. Go back to being a servant, right? I want Him, and I don't want to be resisting Him, right? And resisting that, but allowing Him to teach me and mold me and change me, so that I can help other people. Yeah. So really, that's what stems it from. It really is. I know nothing. I wake up in the morning like, I'm going to make up a lot of mistakes today. I don't know what I'm doing 100%, and so I'm very thankful for the box here and just the coaches here that it's a tough job. I mean, there's some people in here who've been lifting their whole lives and been doing this a while. It's hard to speak to them in a way. It's challenging, but the coaches here, at least I think, have the ability to say, hey, listen, here's a way to improve, here's a way to get better.
Mm-hmm.
People are responsive to that.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to be responsive to that. It's respect. Like, and again, I'm teaching our kids how to do that. If I'm teaching them to be respectful,
You better do
I
the
better
same.
do it
Yeah.
myself, right? And so, granted, like I said, I've been lifting weights for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
And so I don't know it, and that's okay. It's totally cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's like getting that 1% better and stuff like that. And if you keep doing that, then there's no telling what you're going to be like exactly a year from now or 2 years from now or whatever.
And it may not show up on the leaderboard here, but it's going to show up somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to show up when you're helping somebody lift or just being there, being mobile. It's all going to show up.
It's kind of like how you do anything is how you do everything, right? If it's like you're not wanting to learn here or wanting to learn somewhere or whatever, I mean, not always, but most of the time there's a common trend or
Right.
something like that,
Right.
which is really interesting.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
it's your willingness to be teachable, right? And so it's like a horse, right? If you've ever been around horses, an untrained horse, an undisciplined horse, an unbroken horse is absolutely worthless.
True.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely worthless. But once that horse has been broken and now can be led, now that horse can be hooked up and be a tremendous worker for you.
Yeah.
So in order for us to be workers and be anything of value to people's substance, there has to be this period of like brokenness that we
Yeah.
have to come through and be led so that we can be serviceable.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. And so they kind of talking about like being broken and then kind of building back up and stuff like that. What
Yeah.
was your biggest challenge prior to joining the TCF family, you think?
No, I mean, it's interesting. I won't get into too much of that right now, but happy to talk to you at a different point. But
Yeah.
about 15 years ago, my life fell apart. And so I went through some crazy darkness, and my life was completely out of control in so many different areas, physically, mentally, the whole bit. Like I just fell off a cliff. My life was shattered into complete pieces. Like I was a mess. I was a complete mess. And through that, I learned that our time is so short.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we think about how we're living our lives, we want to be purposeful in everything that we do.
Right.
And so when we were talking about our fitness and just living life, again, what we talked about earlier about being a servant or whatever, we came to CrossFit because it maybe sounds strange, but the simplicity of just shaking it up, right? Life, when we feel comfortable, my wife and I, when we feel comfortable, we realize that something may be off somewhere. We like comfort, we love comfort,
Right.
but when you get comfortable in something, you're not really open to learning anymore. And so when we were going through some trials and whatnot, we learned that through those trials, through difficulties, is when real change can happen.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that she went through her dark spot, I went through my dark spot. One thing that came out of that was you want to be learning, right? Learning something new that challenges, put us in that vulnerable position of, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, help me, right? So there's that faith issue, there's a mental issue, there's a physical issue, and so it all kind of culminates with CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the avenue that God ordained for us to walk through and see type of transformations that can happen when you put yourself in a position of learning, right? Because I don't know how to climb a rope.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know how, really do snatches and squats, snatches and overhead mess that we get down, and I still am learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it got to the point where it's like, why don't we, what's in us that keeps us from learning something new?
Right.
And so that was the challenge we put forth. It was like, why not? And so our lives now, all these years later, 15 years later, my wife and I, why are we living a life of fear, right? We don't want to, or failure, right? We don't want to fail, right? But we don't want fear to control us like that. So we'll get in these steps of like, okay, we're very comfortable. How do we get uncomfortable? And CrossFit has been one of those avenues to force us into an uncomfortable situation, to learn and to change and to progress through.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole idea of like if you're not being challenged, you're not moving forward, then it's like you're moving backwards in a way, right? It's like you got to be comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Right. I believe there's a Navy SEAL saying that the only comfortable day was yesterday, or the only easy day was yesterday. If you look that up, they talk about the only easy day was yesterday.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll definitely look into that.
Yep.
So, like, how did that challenge make you feel? I guess how did that dark spot make you feel of that finding out that comfort is like almost not like the enemy, but it's something that you don't want to experience all the time.
Right.
Like, you don't want to just be comfortable all the time.
Yeah, because you don't learn. You're stuck, and it's like a fish, right? If you're a fish that's being carried away by the things of what other people tell you or what this world tells you, you're just like a fish that's floating along, right?
Yeah.
And what kind of fish float along?
Dead ones.
Dead fish, right? Well, I don't want to be dead,
Right.
right? And so we have to fight the current and come back up. And so that dark spot for us was how do we fight the current that all the world's telling us we need to live a certain way or do a certain thing? How do we fight against that? And one of the ways to do that is to constantly be looking for things to learn.
Yeah.
And so how do I get better here? So going back to the game. So every game that happens in here is I'm getting a little bit better being purposeful in my life.
Yeah.
Because we have to live a purpose-driven life here. Otherwise, we're just floating dead fish.
Right. And then do you feel like that CrossFit's kind of helped you out with that to kind of find different ways to challenge yourself and learn new things, learn different things and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, the whole idea is you're going to fail. There's going to be things that happen. You don't do it right, or you're going to get frustrated, or like I just bring it to CrossFit example. Still, I'm not comfortable with overhead squat presses or whatever. I can't even say it right?
Yeah.
Overhead squats, right? I'm just not comfortable with that. I don't like it. But I know it's on the schedule, and I know I still have to go through it, and there's always work up tos and work around it too.
Yeah.
But the whole point is adversity is so good for us, right? The Bible talks about discipline, and it says discipline is unpleasant for a season, but in the end produces fruit of righteousness. And in that discipline, nobody likes it.
Yeah.
Nobody likes getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, coming out here in the box at 6, right? Even though some 6 a.m.ers that come here are pretty happy.
Yeah.
But I don't, right? But I know that to be true, that discipline for a season is unpleasant, but in due time produces the fruit of righteousness. And I think that's what I want. I mean, I want my life to count. I want my life to help others get through tough times. I mean, we have seen the absolute worst of the worst, my wife and I. And so we feel driven and called to help with that. And CrossFit is an example of how that manifests itself physically, but also spiritually and mentally as well. It all comes out to the same thing. It comes down to the human heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then what other specific positive impacts have you seen? I mean, obviously getting healthier and stuff like that, but I mean, you kind of talked about mentally and other stuff. Like, how have you seen any positive impacts in those areas from joining the TCF family and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, just the different people that you get to meet here. I mean, it really is a community where people come from all walks of life, different backgrounds. I mean, I'm still learning. It's easy to have CrossFit conversations, right? And oh wow, you lifted great, or you had a great workout, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But to really figure out who does what outside the walls here.
Yeah.
What's their job, right? What's their family life? How many kids? So that community aspect is key in terms of a community, right? And we were created for community. We were created for relationships.
Yeah.
And so there's two reasons people join a community. One, they want to be accepted. They want to be a part of something, right? And two, they want to contribute.
Yeah.
So having those conversations and understanding, hey, I want to get to know you. We belong, right? We want to feel like a sense of belonging. But then also, I want to contribute. How can I contribute to the community?
Yeah.
And so that's my goal is to how can I contribute in the lives of other people? What kind of investments? What kind of time can we put in other people's lives to help them? Because we're all going through troubles, man. We're all going through problems at different times. You're either coming out of a trial, you're in the middle of a trial, or you're getting ready to go in one.
Right.
That's just
it's
the way
like
life
an endless
is.
cycle.
It's just the way life is. And so CrossFit is to me, this is the crossroads where different lives come together. I mean, we've got people who work in garages, we've got people who do landscaping, we've got corporate people, we've got tech people, we've got every walk of life coming here. And if we're not taking advantage of that, being purposeful, then what are we doing? Right?
Right.
What are we doing? We high-fiving somebody on their way to life's complete mess? Or is there an opportunity to have a conversation, a smile, a kind word, something to really invest in that person?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then anything that you would like to say to maybe someone that's on the fence about joining?
Yeah. I was on the fence too. I was kind of snarky at times about CrossFit and that's just for elite athletes, or want to be elite athletes was really snarky. But the idea is come check it out. The fact that it combines your cardio with your weight, with the mental accomplishing, all of that's funneled in together into one place. And so anybody who's on the fence, I'd say give it a try. And again, it goes back to what we talked about learning. Are you willing to try something new? Are you willing to learn different techniques? Are you willing to learn something different? And I know there's two schools of thought about CrossFit, the pros and the cons, right? But
I mean, that's anything.
That's anything, right? There's always two sides to every story. But I would just challenge somebody who's on the fence about it. If you're serious about your fitness, what do you have to lose, right? Well, I could get hurt, or whatever. The coaches here are great. There's workarounds. They can see things that we can't see, and know when somebody's getting close, right? To really putting themselves in a vulnerable position.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel safe. I've always felt safe. In fact, my daughter, we talked about, she's here. I feel safe about that. But again, everybody's got to go through that. But I would say anybody's on the fence, take your foot out. This is something deeper than just CrossFit. Is there any fear or anything that's keeping you back in other aspects of your life? It's I don't know. It's something deeper going on, and CrossFit could be that way for you to take that first step out of that fear bondage.
Yeah, that comfort zone and stuff.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
There you go. And then anything else you'd like to add, Sean?
No, I mean the fact that this is a great box. We've had an opportunity to visit different boxes around, and look, everybody's got their personalities and their theme, but for Triangle CrossFit, it fits us personally in terms of what we're looking for. That there are some great athletes that are superstars that are competing, all the way down to folks who just want to get take better walks in the park, right? So there's a wide spectrum here, which I really love about it. And there's other boxes I've been to that kind of specialize in one or the other, right? They specialize in the elite, let's turn out athletes and let's get ready for the games every year.
Yeah.
Or the ones that are not really doing CrossFit. I don't know what they're doing, but they call themselves CrossFit, but it's kind of soft. But for us, this is a tremendous, good, solid box in terms of the people, in terms of the programming, in terms of people looking out for you as individuals. So we thoroughly enjoy coming here, and it really is a challenge, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Heck yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thanks again, Sean, for taking a little while to share your story with me and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And again, if you see Sean in the gym, make sure that you congratulate him for being July's Member of the Month.
Yeah. Thanks,
Heck
man.
yeah.
Appreciate it.